We got some stuff to talk about tonight. We got some stuff to talk about tonight. We got some stuff to talk about tonight. I hope you guys will enjoy this stream. We got some people on deck to come in and tell us about this show that are leaving the show right now. But let's cue that intro.
It's your boy Concert Viz 34 back at home.
What up? What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34.
Yep, so your boy Concert Viz 34 coming to you here.
What up? What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34. Aria. Okay, so this is Aria, and just tell us a little bit about yourself and about your love for the Dave Matthews Band.
I've been a fan of the band since April 28, 1998. And if you recognize the date, that's when Before These Crowded Streets was released.
Alpine is definitely a better venue than Summerfest, but we'll take it. I think I've been going to shows for about 20-something years.
I always tell people, like, compare DMB to now to when I first started. And I got started, in my opinion, I feel like I got started late. Like, I was at the very end of the band's prime. I feel like that 03 to 06 was like the end of the prime. 07, 08 was like, you know, we're at the very end. And then when Roy passed.
But Dave really, this is the thing. Dave has put, Rashawn has been assigned the quarterback of this team. He is the coach, the play caller. He designs the jams. Dave just shows up and plays whatever he's going to play. It's your boy Conservative 34. LA, what up? East LA, what up? Compton, California, what up? West LA, what up? Pasadena, how y'all doing out there? Big up to all them students at USC. UCLA, what up? Long Beach, what up? Everyone out there in Torrance, California, what up? Manhattan Beach, what up? Huntington Beach, what up? Santa Monica, how y'all doing? Beverly Hills, what's popping? We're not gonna acknowledge Orange County at all. We're not talking about y'all tonight, all right? Orange County gets no love. This is LA. This is an LA show, okay? All right. If you're from Orange County, we're not talking about you tonight. All right. Well, hey guys, welcome to the DMB Post Show stream. It's your boy Conservative 34, and what a night! What a night! What a night here! And you know, 2018. You guys just saw the intro to Squirm in 2018. The band in its first year with a major tour without a violin, brought back an orchestra. They brought back an orchestra. And that was a special moment. I personally thought they did not utilize the orchestra the best for it as a fan, but they did utilize it as a promotional tool. Meaning they have this new album out, they have Buddy Strong, and they used it as a tool to promote the new album, to really showcase some of the newer stuff they were doing. But they left some great music on the table for the violin or an orchestra or some sort of arrangement with strings to be played. Tonight, that was not the case. Tonight, that was not the case. They did a wonderful job of showcasing this orchestra. The only song I may debate that shouldn't have had strings is When the World Ends. I would have said, and maybe they'll do this tomorrow night, you got to play the stone. Where is the stone?
What are you doing?
How have they not how have they had an orchestra for all the two shows in the post Boyd Tinsley era, and the stone has not been played? That is the first song on a studio album that used an orchestral arrangement. It is the most chilling and intense song with a violin or string arrangement, and it was not used. But maybe we'll see if they do that for tomorrow night. But this was a special show for those who traveled out to LA, and we're going to talk to some people who traveled out to LA here. We're going to talk to them and see what they thought. Michael Ledbetter says, caught the end of the live stream, violin strings. I thought it sounded great. Yeah, I mean, the stuff I heard. Craig, our pal out there in the United Kingdom, who's up early this morning for this stream. Shout out to Craig. Great night one, Hollywood tonight. How cool to hear the violin on Ants. Awesome. Yes, it's great. And the string player you heard, Ann Marie Simpson, or Ann Marie Simpson Calhoun, she is the wife of Brian Calhoun, who is the owner of Rockbridge Guitars. You guys may see the acoustic guitars Dave plays. Those are Rockbridges, the 6-string standard guitars outside of the soprano guitar and the baritone guitars. Those are all now exclusively Rockbridge guitars that Dave uses. So that's his wife, who's an extremely talented musician. All right, we got Donnell Erickson. Traveled out to LA from upstate New York. The Hollywood Bowl is no SPAC, but what a show. That's awesome. Shout out to Donnell Erickson. And we hope you enjoyed the show. And feel free to comment when we're talking about this stuff here. So let's see if we can get our first guest on. I want to make sure everyone is good to go. So let me just do a little bit of a check. Let's pull up the set list as well. Okay, no tour debuts, but listen, at this point, we're at the end of the tour, and there's a lot of songs that have been played that were played again tonight. Songs that they did a great job of getting this set ready. Let's see if we can. Give me one moment. I'm going to see. And while we're doing that, yeah, give me one moment. I'm going to try to see if we can get Shane on the line. All right, so we're gonna get our guest on in just a moment. But what I want to do is shout out to Trish DMB. I think she's got the plugs everywhere. She's good in every hood. Shout out to Trish DMB. She has some content that we're gonna share from Instagram. Let's see if we can put this here. Instagram. All right, so see if we can pull some of this here. Let's listen to What You Are. We're going to listen to some What You Are here. Again, Trish DMB got this from someone there. She was not there tonight. But let's listen to a little bit of What You Are while we're waiting for our guests to get ready. Just to give you an idea, if you did not catch the stream, the Couch Tour stream, let's listen to this here. So that was What You Are from tonight, courtesy of Trish D&B by way of Janine Cochran. She is always streaming. Shout out to her. She goes to a lot of shows. That's her with Dave. So salute to them for getting that up to the people. And yeah, that's a song that should, again, this is my opinion. Okay. I understand. Listen, some people are talking about all these songs they want with the band and the strings. Oh, I want Spoon. Listen, Drunken Soldier, great songs. Not knocking them. But as far as out of the park, can't miss songs, Stone and What You Are going to hit better with Violin than Spoon. Now, Spoon is an amazing song and Violin sounds great, but Stone and What You Are songs that just are you like they are made for the strings. And those are two of my favorite songs because of the intensity of them, the buildup of them, and the strings just takes that to a whole new level live because you get that in the studio. So you sometimes you have to, when you're talking about special editions, when you're talking about guests, a lot of times you can't, like, yes, we all want the rare songs, we all want this special stuff, but sometimes there's a song that may be more of a staple or maybe less rare. Obviously the Stone is a rare song and What You Are is rare, but obviously like A Dream So Rare is rarer. Blackjack is rarer. Now Blackjack, I think hey, listen, Blackjack it would work great with too, but sometimes in my opinion you have to look at songs that match. A guest, yes, we would all love a guest on Spoon. Listen, I love Spoon. I will go nuts if I ever get it again. I have gotten it once. But sometimes a guest or someone or some sort of arrangement or special sit-in is better meant for a certain song, and it could be a hit. It could be a so-so in rotation song versus just a super rare song. And that's where I think the strings are meant for certain things. Great to see it was steady as you go as we go. Had the strings. And Ants, obviously Ants marching, having the strings. Now we did have Ants marching with Dave and Tim a couple years ago. Violin player from I'm With Her, along with I believe there was a mandolin player a couple years ago in Dave and Tim in Mexico. So that did pull strings, pull emotions because people who were at those shows said, listen, wow, just to have that violin back is special. So and that's really the thing. People have wanted overwhelmingly have wanted the violin back. The violin made D&B unique. To me, I can live without it, but it would be nice to have someone there in certain songs and certain parts of a show. And exactly what they did tonight is how I thought they could incorporate a fiddle player like Ann or someone else. Have them come in for 4 songs, 5 songs, even just 2 songs or 3 songs. Have them learn the catalog and then slowly emerge them into more and more of the set list. The fiddle player is going to need, if they're going on a 40 plus show tour, most fiddle players are not going on 40 plus show tours where they have to know different songs every night. Not that they can't do it, but it's a marathon, right? Because Luke Bryan or Jason Aldean or even Zach Brown band, they're fiddle players, which listen, Zach Brown band fiddle players are extremely talented, but they're playing around the general same set every night. So they can practice that. And yeah, even if there are 20, 30 shows, they kind of know what they're playing. With D&B, things change over the tour. They rotate songs in and out. And what they did tonight is exactly how I would say a string player would would fit in with this band. Outside of the strings, we have You Never Know at that second spot. And I shout out to D&B Memes. I heard the stream through that account on Instagram, DMB Memes. Check them out. DMB MEMES. DMB Memes. The squad there was at the Hollywood Bowl for tonight. I thought that was a beautiful version of that. I heard some of the Fool in the Rain. Walk Around the Moon gets some play here. A lot of new songs for this venue. And it's interesting to see, you never know. Fool in the Rain, Walk Around the Moon, Love or Lay Down, right? When the World Ends. And again, while we're waiting for our peoples to be ready, we have 4 Under the Table and Dreaming, 3 Big Whiskey, which is interesting when you think about it. I always think when you have a Squirm play, it doesn't feel like it's a Big Whiskey song, even though it is. And I'm a proponent for moving Big Whiskey further away from the set list as possible. We've had enough since '09. Okay. But Squirm is a song that I would love to see in rotation. Dive In is a song. Lying in the Hands of God. Those are 3 songs that I would love to see. I don't really care about Alligator Pie. Baby Blue would be cool because I never heard it. But I mean, for the sake of how many songs that we have now for this band, less of Big Whiskey is more, in my opinion. But Squirm is one of those songs that should be played if we're picking from that. So Squirm, You and Me, and Why I Am. We have 2 everyday songs. Okay. And those are going to be When the World Ends and What You Are. We have Busted Stuff, 2 songs, 2 unreleased, 2 covers, 2 Away from the World. I love the riff. 5 plays this year. I think that is great that we have 5 plays. We have 1 crash, this is always interesting because with all this music, all the new music we have, and them digging back into some old stuff, you're seeing a couple nights ago there was 1 Before These Crowded Streets song to close out and stay. Now we have 1 crash. We've had shows with no crash and no Before These Crowded Streets and no Big Whiskey in the last 2 years. We've seen some of that with some of the newer music that's come out. And tonight we only have 1 Before These Crowded Streets song, 1 Some Devil, 1 Stand Up, and the ones Before These Crowded Streets is Don't Drink the Water. So yeah. Should be interesting here. And like I said, just hang tight. We're going to get our guests on the stream. Oh, Shane. All right, Shane, I'm going to hit you up right now. Shane, I'm going to give you a call, and we're going to get Shane on the line.
Hello.
Hey, Shane, it's your boy Conceviz 34.
Can you hear me? Hold
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm not hearing you. Hold on.
All right.
There we go. I hear you.
All right. So, hey, tell us about this show.
Oh, what a venue. I mean, wow. It's so steep and really narrow. So it goes way up the mountain, or up the hill. I don't know what they consider it out here. But unbelievable venue. I mean, it was beautiful. And then what else? The show started. 41 can't be 41. Everybody loves that. I don't see the set list. Do you have the set list on you? Oh, can I look at it? And yeah, it's kind of a slow night, Marcus. Are you there?
Yeah, really. So you're saying it's a slow night tonight?
I felt like I felt like it was kind of slow. I mean, keep in mind, coming off of, I mean, gosh, that Skyline show was incredible.
Right.
All right, so 41.
Yeah.
Awesome. You never know. Personally, we that's a low numbered song for us. I think we've only had it 4 or 5 times, so we're excited to get that. And then Fool in the Rain came on, and I'll take it. Give me the option between that and Sledgehammer. I'll take it. It's new to us. It's exciting, and it sounds like they're tightening it up like every time, because I think we've now gotten it 3 in a row. And then Satellite pops up, and that ended our 13 consecutive shows without a satellite. So from there, we were just like, all right, we haven't heard it in a while. It's still Satellite. Still heard it a lot in the past. Walk Around the Moon was fantastic. So good. And then Sweet. Sweet's all right. I mean,
is that the song your wife Angie likes but you don't like?
Oh, yeah, she loves it. I'm yeah, I don't know. We got a lot of the dynamics tonight was so different than anywhere. The amount of wine that we saw people drinking tonight is like no venue I've seen before. I mean, unbelievable amount of people walking around with like full bottles of wine, and then out pops the weed. And it's like this new dynamic of this mellow with the wine, and mellow with the weed, and the set list was, I'm not going to say it was slow. It was just the peaks. The peaks were far in between the valley. You know what I mean? Yeah. What was this again? What? The thing pop. Can you get that? Oh. And so where did we leave off? Sorry, Marcus. It's been a good show. Don't get me wrong.
Okay, and let me just
say the show was bad.
Let me just cut in for those of you guys who haven't been to the Hollywood Bowl, haven't been to LA, right? Shane and his wife Angie, they were just at Shoreline. Shoreline had high energy. Shoreline is more of a party type atmosphere on a Saturday night.
Right.
And
that was a big thing too, Marcus. I mean, people around us were saying, that they were kind of downing them for coming on a Monday after work and not scheduling for a weekend, and I just listen. I don't put my input in, but that definitely had some of the crowd, I guess, maybe groggy a little bit. I don't want to make it sound the whole set was slow, because then came Don't Drink. The crowd got up and jammed that, and then the riff with the riff is amazing. I'll take that as much as they want to give it to me. And then Here Comes You and Me, and it's like, all right, we're going back down. And then Lover Lay Down, which is it's a personal low numbered song. We didn't even get Lover Lay Down until like show 51 at SPAC in 17 or something like that. So I mean, we don't mind Lover Lay Down. Good song. Squirm.
Now talk about this orchestra. So Squirm comes on. What is obviously there's a setup for them. What was it like to get that orchestra and get some strings and get some other instruments in there?
Yeah, it was fantastic. Honestly, I mean, Squirm I like Squirm to begin with. I thought it was great. When the World Ends has been played so much this summer. So any rendition of Change was good, and it sounded full. And again, they're not kidding. The acoustics at this amphitheater, it's wow. You know what I mean? I mean, we were not by far. We were 200 level, row 20 out of 23 of that level. So we were back there. That's why I don't have very many good pictures or video or anything else. I was kind of back from the stage, but unbelievable acoustics. Sounded so good. So they came out for, I think, I hope the Almanac has it, because I want to say like maybe the next 4 songs, When the World Squirm, When the World Ends, Steady, and What You Are.
Yeah, that's what they have as the strings and the orchestral arrangement.
Steady's a good song. I don't mind Steady. I like it. Angie likes it. And then, again, these 4 songs with the orchestra was fantastic. Yeah. So, and then let's see here, Stay or Leave comes on, Kill the Preacher, and Why I Am, which, you know, well, we're all seeing Kill the Preacher and Why I Am. It's so predictable now, but you would like to see that change up a little bit.
Yeah,
Jimmy was, what's that?
I said, like, you know, I want less Big Whiskey. I like Squirm. Squirm should stay, but like the Kill the Preacher, Why I Am, that type of stuff should be wrapped up. You and Me. Now that's a fan favorite, but if I had the power, I would put those two away so that other songs can get that light.
And then they brought out for Jimmy these two fantastic trombone players. And that was a really good Jimmy tonight.
Okay.
And then for the final song for Ants, we got a violin player they brought out. So it was our first violin Ants since quite a while now.
Did you go to Mexico when they had it?
Do we do what?
Did you do Mexico? I believe it was 2020. There was a violinist on Ants from I'm With Her and a mandolin player.
No, last year was our first Mexico.
Okay. So
we'll be going again this
year. February 15th, 2020, the second night, we had Sarah Watkins on violin, Sarah Jazraz on mandolin, and then Alfie O'Donovan. Now tonight, just to give you some backstory, do you know who Brian Calhoun is from Rockbridge Guitars?
Personally, no, I don't know.
Okay, so he's Dave's friend. There's a slap video where Dave is slapping some guy, and he's slapping him.
I've seen the video of the slaps they do.
Yeah. So that's Brian Calhoun. He owns Rockbridge Guitars. He's the guy who's in charge of that. His wife, Ann Marie Simpson Calhoun, that's who was playing on stage. And people, there was rumors that once they kind of knew Boyd wasn't going to come back, that Anne Marie tried to play with the band. Now, this isn't confirmed, but it's rumors that she was like they were trying to test it out, maybe have some little sessions. And a lot of fans were pushing for Anne to be the permanent violin replacement for Boyd. Nobody knows. Listen, we don't know. Maybe she didn't have the time. It's 40 plus shows. Maybe she wanted to be with, her family. We don't know if this is true or what may have become. This is all speculation, but she's somebody that a lot of fans have said, hey, get Ann to be the violin player for Boyd, to replace Boyd. This is 2018, 2019. There was a strong push for her.
You get a chance to see the video of Ants tonight. There was just so many more cell phones. As soon as he introduced her and the crowd saw violin coming on, It was probably the largest eruption of the night. And then when she got her solo, the place just went crazy. It was really exciting, for Ants, you know what I mean? So to see that reaction and that feedback from the lady playing the violin, it was awesome.
Yeah, that's definitely a special moment. And so we have the encore Rye Whiskey to Gray Street. What'd you think of that?
Again, this show is based on Ange and I seeing the shows that we have seen. So a lot of this set list, we've gotten so much, and we're coming off of a couple shows where things were mixed up and things were a bit new. And so Rye Whiskey is another. We have gotten a lot of Rye Whiskey.
Right.
Would love, he's got such a repertoire of acoustic, anything that he can sing, but again, all right. So then it goes into Gray Street, and of course it's another fan favorite.
Yep.
Great energy. Left the stage tonight with no selfies.
Okay.
Didn't take any selfies at the end of Encore.
Interesting.
And posters were available at, I'm not sure how many merch tents there were. We walked by 2 of them, and posters were still available for tonight's show. Yeah, it was a different vibe. Like, I'm not gonna say that our section was the craziest, but then again, if you haven't been to the Hollywood Bowl, boy, they pack you in there, and the seats are where we sat. The seats in front of us had backs, so you really didn't even shuffle your feet at all for most of the show. You were really packed in, and pay for yourself. You didn't have anybody on the right side.
And yeah, we got your picture up from the Hollywood Bowl when you got in. And I just, again, I have not been here, but I've talked to a lot of different people that live in LA. I used to work at StubHub, so I know people who worked this venue for like ticket, making sure things went smoothly for ticket buying and selling. But I know some of you guys may say, okay, why is Shane thinking, okay, this is how the crowd is, but this venue is known to have more of a kind of a rich corporate feel.
Oh boy, did it, Marcus! Oh boy, did it! The boxes, when you walk in, the boxes alone.
We got them on film right now. Yep, we're looking at them. Yep.
And the again, I just can't even stress the amount of wine. Like, maybe you did a show up in Napa where like more wine was sold, but instead of walking up to a vendor with beer, which you just get the beer and they hand you the can or whatever.
Yeah. But
then they'll just crack the bottle of wine and give it to you. And everybody, so it was a little different. It was just a little different. It was fun. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. We definitely would come back, especially in California. This run of shows has really been great. But out of the 4, I would probably put this at the bottom of them so far.
Gotcha. And again, that makes sense. And like I said, I really want to provide context for people who haven't been out here. And also, right, Shane and Angie, they went to Friday's show in Chula Vista outside of San Diego. They go to Saturday's show, and it's like, they see this high energy set. They go tonight, and you guys have also been to Deer Creek. You've been to SPAC. Did you go to West Palm?
Not this year because they changed it up, and we almost pulled the trigger on that right before they changed it up, and we didn't go.
And you guys went to Colorado, right? Your hometown show.
Nights in Denver.
So
tonight's show 9 of 10 this summer tour.
Okay.
For tomorrow, we'll obviously we're ending with the band, obviously, but I mean, there's speculation like tomorrow's going to be just all out. They got,
right.
It's going to be more high energy, I guess. And don't get me wrong, some of these songs were high energy, of course.
Right.
How do you not get high energy out of Don't Drink, or how do you not get high energy out of? But I don't think a lot of the crowd almost didn't know a lot of these songs, to be honest with you.
Right.
Like, I don't know hardly anybody in our, when the riff hit and Angie and I were like, yes, we'll take it again, that people were like, I don't recognize this song either, and it was like that mentality all around us, like until he hit like, Don't Drink or Jimmy and some of the more staples of shows. But a lot of the songs I felt like people around us just didn't even know.
Right.
Kill the Preacher, it was almost impossible to even hear. The people around us were talking so loud over it. I don't know. That corporate, like you said, that corporate mentality crowd there, you could see it. Yeah.
And we have some pictures. You went to the Roxy. You went to the Viper Room. One thing we have to talk about with DMB is there are tons of bands, West Hollywood, downtown.
Oh my God!
There are so many bands, punk rock. Multiple eras of punk rock. I'm talking like back in the 70s and 80s to the 90s to present day to Absolutely. Indie bands. That's what LA is. It's not a Dave Matthews Band, Fish, String Cheese Incident type of town. It is more of a rock and roll town. So those bands and the other venues, right? It's a rock and roll town. So they're not gonna know the deep cuts of Dave Matthews Band. The only people that know that stuff, we have Matt Hughes, who was on earlier this week for Chula Vista, right? He's been going to Dave shows since the turn of the century in the Midwest, out in the West Coast. So just to let you guys know, when Dave comes to town, if he's not playing Ant Marching, if he's not playing Don't Drink, these songs that Shane is talking about, the crowds out here are going to react differently. And also, they don't get shows. Like they get them in 2018. They get them when an album's coming out because Dave wants to go to Kimmel. He wants to go somewhere else. And he wants to let people know in LA, hey, LA, there's a new Dave record coming out. Check out this stuff with an orchestra. Check out John Mayer and Damian Marley. Oh no, is it Stephen Marley was wait. No, I think it who was it? I think it was Steve.
What's that?
They did Exodus out here in 07. Who was
Nice.
let me check that. But the point is they bring out guests. They have special stuff when an album's coming out or when they have a big year. But then they just they're gone. They come here and they're gone for 5 or 6 years. Exodus was Ziggy Marley and Stephen Marley. Stephen Marley and Ziggy Marley were on Exodus in 2007, October 2nd, 2007. One of the best improv two steps, A Dream So Real opener. They come to LA, they have a lot of big star power, and then they leave for 5 or 6 years. So this is, as you're talking to Shane, who's been to a bunch of these shows. So yes, someone who sees the riff for the first time to go nuts, and he loves the riff, but he's seen Rye Whiskey 50 million times since we were at Deer Creek. We've got Rye Whiskey has been played 50 million times. Why I Am has been played 15 times.
Right.
So you're giving us, I love your perspective because you've been able to soak in this tour. And
some of the songs were so good tonight. I mean, it really was What You Are. Oh my goodness. I mean, it sounded so good. And going back to, again, a low reaction from the crowd. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
A lot of our section would be sitting down, and it's like, fine, sit down. That's just a better view for us.
Yeah.
It was different. Now, again, that Skyline show, Dave came out with like something to prove. Like, he was so apologetic. Oh, I'm so sorry. It feels like we haven't been here in 200 years. And we used to be here all the time. This was our staple. And I really felt like the Skyline show was like an apology to that community of California.
Northern California, Shoreline Amphitheater. Okay. So that San Francisco, San Jose, Saturday, you're saying, and I saw you tweet it, you're saying Saturday's show was like hey, sorry we're not here. Let's party. Let's give you our heart and soul. And tonight, no selfie. Amazing strings. But it sounds like, again, that Tonight show, like you said, the crowd didn't appreciate fully the stuff, like you said, the What You Are. Is that correct?
Yeah, a lot of it. But again, we're upper 200 level, so Lord knows what was happening down by that pit. And the pit was really tiny tonight. Small pit, at least what we thought. We thought it looked like a small pit.
It looks small. And I also was told there was no warehouse entry for this show as far as early in no warehouse lottery.
Now, we got there before 6 o'clock, which is doors. We had poster. They had outside merch. If people wanted outside merch, we had seats. We didn't have to worry about getting anything. So we got there maybe like 5:35, 5:45.
Yeah.
And people were like just going in, like everybody. It was just like generally everybody go in. We just looked at each other like, where's the warehouse line? It's like, there's no line. They're just in. So I don't know what happened. They just opened the gate to everybody. But and it seemed like early too. Like I said, we got there usually before warehouse is even allowed in. So
Wow.
But everybody was allowed in.
Well, this is the one show I'll say with the LA traffic, and then with the fact that not everyone's going to really rush to get there, small pit. If there's one show you're not going to allow, now I know State Line, Nevada, they didn't have warehouse. But if you're going to have a show with an actual like pit, because State Line is just a big area, big GA, this is the one show where you can say, listen, if we're having a night off from the warehouse lottery, this is a small pit. It's like SPAC. It looks like SPAC size pit. This is the one show where you say, hey, just let everyone in at the same time. If you come here early, if you get to the Hollywood Bowl early, just go in, right? Warehouse, regular, general, whatever it is, because this is a show, these Southern California shows, we talked to Matt on Friday. It's hard to get to. There's a lot of traffic. This is a Monday.
That is an understatement, Marcus. We've been in all these cities. Now, again, we have not done Madison Square Garden, but we've done Boston, we've done Chicago.
Yeah.
LA, this is a different animal. The traffic out here is ridiculous. I mean, this is so the exodus out with the Uber and the ride shares and it was chaos. Organized chaos, to say the least. Everybody's making their way, but wow.
Yeah. Any other final thoughts? I appreciate you coming on. Any final thoughts?
I appreciate you, Marcus. This is incredible. Your dedication to do this at whatever hour you're up right now, and what you do for this community, man. Just thank you. Thanks for having me on. And if you want to talk tomorrow, I'll be available. I can only imagine it's got to be about the same time. I'm going to stroll through the hotel because it was it was not easy just getting out of the venue. Yeah. It is it's a really weird system they got there. It's a mad funnel of 3 directions coming into one traffic jam. Wow. It's just typical for LA, I guess, and the traffic and everything else. It's busy.
Yeah, it's one of those cities. It was one of the only cities during the pandemic to have the same traffic levels. That's how,
and it shows, man. It just, it's everywhere. But don't get me wrong, we're from Denver, so you walk down some of these streets and the exotic cars that are just flying up and down. I mean, it's pulling a neck muscle every stoplight. It's like, oh my God, look at the McLaren that just flew by us. Yeah. It's like, so I mean, it's a hell of a town and a lot of energy, and can't wait to see what tomorrow night's show is, because I feel like, they know it's their final show. They just want to hang it all out. I can't wait that hopefully we get some great guests to blow out the end of tour.
All right. Well, hey, thank you again for coming on. Thank you for giving us this perspective on a very unique show for the tour with the strings. And hey, get some rest. You've been traveling, and even your days off walking around the moon to every site. So get some rest, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you, Marcus. Have a good night.
All right. Take care. Bye.
You too, buddy.
All right. So that was Shane, and thank him for coming on. And again, I just want to provide that context. Some of you guys be like, well, hey, he has seen this in so much of this tour, 10 shows, 1 to at least 3 different time zones, if not 4. He's been in the East Coast, Eastern time zone with Deer Creek and SPAC. He's been in the Mountain time zone. This is his 3rd show in 5 days. So you're gonna he's giving you perspective as someone who's seen a bunch of the different shows, and he's saying that overall, I think the crowd impacted this. And again, this is Hollywood Bowl. This is what, again, talking to experts working in the ticket industry. This is stuff that I've heard about the Hollywood Bowl, and just keep that in mind. We're gonna have another guest on in a second. I think people will say, "Hey, go to the show," but just you got to expect. You have to expect a different crowd. That is what is is important about this. And yeah, like the LA traffic, even with all the crazy stuff, I would never get married personally. I'm getting married this year. I would never get married in LA. I would never get married in LA. In California, California law marriage. Oh my gosh, they're horrible laws. Like even though I expect to be married forever, like yo, if you're in California, right, and you are married for 10 years and you get a divorce, you have to pay alimony. If you're the higher earning person, you have to pay alimony for the rest of the person's life, male or female. You gotta, and listen, the taxes, the cost of living. I would never live in LA, never live in California on purpose, but I do hope to visit it. Let's see, we got let's see if we can get Stephanie on the line. I want to get her perspective as well. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. All right, so we're gonna try to get a link to Steph because we have some audio. It sounds really low. Let's see if we can get this out. And we'll try to get one of the two Stephs on. One Steph, two Steph, red Steph, blue Steph. All right, so that link. See if that'll work. Want to mute? Yeah, we'll see if we can get Steph on. No sound. Yeah, yeah, I was muted because I was trying to see if her connection worked. Can you guys hear me now, right? You guys can hear me now. It looks like sounds like it's saying my vocals are. We'll try to see if this will work. See if this all right, yeah. So Steph has the link. Dun, 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 dun. But yeah, so and we'll get to talking about the poster. We'll talk about the poster as well. I will say, one of the things with booking this, why is the Hollywood Bowl on a Monday, Tuesday? Well, there's a couple of reasons. First off, contractually, well, I mean, they could pull out, but Dave and Tim have Farm Aid this weekend. Please tune into Farm Aid, and please consider, if you have some extra money, donating to America's farmers who are consistently screwed over by both political parties. I will say that America's farmers always get the short end of the stick. So support America's farmers. Watch Farm Aid. But this is a tight window. They couldn't do next weekend, this upcoming weekend, because of Farm Aid and Sound on Sound. But Farm Aid is why. This past weekend, they were able to get certain things in the weekend, but the Hollywood Bowl probably wasn't available except these two dates. Hollywood does not revolve around Dave Matthews. Dave Matthews, if they want to go to the Hollywood Bowl, it's going to be dependent on what's open. And I think all that was open was Monday and Tuesday for them. And that's why it's a Monday, Tuesday. Again, LA is not a Dave Matthews Band town. Dave Matthews coming to LA is the visitor. All right, we're going to bring on Steph. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Fantastic.
All right, so tell us about this show.
The fiddle / violin was it made it was ridiculous. I don't know, I can't remember. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, so the violin player is Ann Marie Calhoun. Her maiden name is Simpson. She is the wife of Brian Calhoun, who created Rockbridge Guitars, one of Dave's best friends.
That's her?
Yep, that's her. And she is the
Oh,
woman who is rumored to have tried to either been considered or tried some test sessions with the band after Boyd Tinsley walked away. In between that Super Bowl show and the actual tour, there's rumors that she had played with the band, obviously because her husband happens to be the guitar maker who knows Dave, and she's a world-renowned violin player. Like, it's not like she just picked it up one day. Hey, can I play? Like, no, she is. That's her profession, is playing the violin. So that's who it was, and what did you think when you come into the venue and you see some like little stage area set up? What did you think? What were you thinking was going to happen?
I mean, I can't remember what year it was. Was it in 20 where they had the orchestra?
It was 2018 Hollywood Bowl. Just one show, but they were there.
Yeah, so I didn't notice it at first, and then I was staring at the stage. Now, well, something special is going to happen. I had no idea what songs, but I had Here on Out, Squirm. I can't remember. I watched it, and so I was kind of freaking out. And then they had the first show the first song that they brought out, and it was absolutely. They just had the special guests on the other ones, and I knew they were going to bring something. Absolutely, it was fantastic.
What was your favorite song tonight?
I'm gonna be real ants with her. I was crying, and my husband was crying, and everyone around us was crying.
Listen, that's a song that the violin was obviously made for. And we've been conditioned. We've been in this little bubble of no violin for you, right? No fiddle for you.
Yeah.
And so that's a special moment. And someone messaged me who was on Friday. He's in LA. He's not native LA, but he's out in LA. Matt Hughes, and he said that's the best ant. That Ants was the standout. So it's not shocking.
And I said
tell us
thing about when they had in Indianapolis, but this was it was special. I recorded I was screaming the whole damn time.
That's awesome. Where were you sitting?
Terrace, was it Terrace 2? I think it was Terrace 2, and we had neighbors around us. I had never been to Hollywood, been to a lot of Midwestern shows, but the sound was incredible, and we were in there where you basically have like 4 people per box, and you can order dinner. It was fantastic. I highly recommend to anyone that Terrace was awesome.
Okay. So that is, you have the pit, the garden boxes, and then the terrace boxes,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yeah.
the bleachers. Now, what did you think? Because one of the things this venue, we just talked to Shane, this venue is known to have more of a corporate crowd. Don't know the deep cuts. I live in LA. I know the hits. What did you think of the crowd and the atmosphere overall coming to LA for the first time?
I mean, I was expecting like basically what you just described. I was not sure how things around us was dancing. They sat for a couple of the songs, but overall, people were loud. People were dancing. I would say probably 80% of the people around sang the whole time. Would you agree? Pretty much everyone. Yeah, pretty much everyone.
Okay. So that's probably because it's interesting. We talked, Shane was in the uppers. So he was in like the bleacher seating. So you guys up front, it sounds like it was a little more of a lively environment than
for
what
sure.
he had. Did you see people? Did you look back to see people like sitting down in the back? Did you kind of notice the division of
I
the
filmed
energy?
probably 2 or 3 times to tell if they were sitting or standing.
Okay.
But the people in front of us, they were most, I would, like I said, probably 78% of the time.
Interesting. So yeah, that's good to know that at least, and it's good to hear that at least closer up.
Pretty loud too.
Okay. Oh, so you had a loud crowd there. Did you did you see any empty seats at all or empty boxes? Because I don't think it sold out technically.
No, I didn't see a lot of boxes that were empty, but prior to the show, the higher up kind of bench areas, I know that there were a lot of availability up. But I looked back and I think it filled out a little bit, but I know that there were probably a couple thousand seats that were filled out.
Okay. And that makes sense because those tickets, like especially for this show, to go all the way out there and then to pay the money to be in the benches versus obviously if you're in a box and you're up close.
Yeah.
You may not get everyone on a Monday night after football Sunday. Everyone's out doing their thing. This is a tough turnaround. And what did you think of the pit? Just from looking forward, what did you think of the pit? It looks like it's a small pit.
It was probably 6:45 to 7, and I could only see like enter probably 5 rows back. And so we're taking tomorrow, and I was trying to kind of gauge and when we needed to go down there, but it's small, and probably toward 7:30 it really started to 6:30, 6:45. There were probably 100 people in there max. It's small for sure.
Yeah, we have this picture from Shane who was just on, and this was like when he got in the venue around 6. And it's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard, there's no warehouse lottery for the pit for this show.
I don't understand that. I'm kind of irritated for them. I mean, their warehouse.
Yeah, I think it's because it's like MSG did the same thing last year. MSG,
Really?
there's certain, it's just But I think that this venue, like I said, looking at this picture from like 6 o'clock, there's only the people at the rail, and then maybe three people deep.
Yeah,
But
it's
that's only
ridiculous.
like right in front of the mic stand is three people deep. Everything else at 6 o'clock is just people on the rail chilling, no sort of like marking my territory, just sitting there casually. You could go to the bathroom
Yeah,
and come back. So I think that is like that fact that if this is what it looks like at 6 o'clock, they probably would just like, just let them come in. And then also a lot of people who live in LA, you could be, it's the worst city traffic wise in the country. People like you can
yeah,
plan to get somewhere and still be 30 minutes late. 5 or 6 miles can take 30 minutes depending on where you are, or if you have to get on the freeway. So I think they kind of bank on people not all getting there at once.
yeah,
Um, and I would still get there early. I would still advise you to just check it out and then decide from there. Because perhaps tomorrow, with people being tired from the weekend on Monday, perhaps tomorrow we'll have a little bit more of a buzz for the pit.
yeah.
But it's definitely
I mean,
unique.
all. So yeah, I was planning on getting there obviously a little bit earlier tomorrow, but because I've not been to LA before, I knew that traffic was terrible. Came yesterday, set up shop. We are not planning on driving in. Uh, Basically, we're just going to get there early, try and get a poster. Probably going to set up shop around 5 and see what we can get in terms of the pit.
Gotcha. And how did this show overall? How did it compare to some of your other venues that you went to, like Alpine and SPAC and Deer Creek?
I mean, it's so hard to compare off the Gorge High, which is, I mean, probably going to be one of the best ever. But it's iconic. I mean, you walk in and it's pretty freaking epic. Like you walk in and it's very, and the sound itself is honestly probably the that I've endured or that I've encountered. In terms of Alpine, SPAC, I was inside, so you can't really compare it. It was pretty awesome. So
Yeah,
and
right.
again,
It's
you just
hard.
kind of feel the nostalgia.
Right. You got the Hollywood sign in the way back. You're in the mountains. It's a world renowned music venue, and just one of those iconic venues for music. So
And even Dave comments about that too. It's
oh
just
yeah,
it's iconic. Hopefully, they will
he
never.
he said something. He said something about it.
Yeah, he was saying the name Hollywood Bowl instead of AT&T Pavilion or whatever it was later. But yeah, it's very iconic, and he said it's intimidating to as iconic as that because it's been around for 100 years now. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely it's a historic monument now to get up there in
yeah,
age and not be knocked down. Uh, Now for this show, did you feel like it was a little more like slower or low key as far as the song selection, or
I mean a little bit. Yeah, it was not heavy hitting until probably what you well, don't drink the water and then it slowed down again and then what you are, but that's a very I mean, that's a so yeah, a little bit slower. I'll be curious to see what they bring out tomorrow.
Yeah, I was saying why they have not played the Stone with an orchestra is beyond me.
I don't know. I mean, I was sitting there telling me that they were going to do Drunken Soldier, or even, I mean, You and Me, that was what their music video was. So I was confused. But yeah, You and Me was, I mean, they only had the regular band.
Yeah. And I thought, what'd you think of, to me, it was odd to see When the World Ends.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It was cool to have the orchestra benefited. I mean, there are certain songs where you're like, that needs more of an orchestra, and When the World Ends, probably not one of those. Yeah, I think You and Me was a little bit confusing, but the rest of them were phenomenal. And obviously, when you bring out special guest bring or any of the songs, they were great.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when you have 21 When the World Ends of the tour. And then you have 20 before this night, you have 20 ants marchings without a violin, and then you have one with a violin. It's a whole different song. So that's great. Any other final thoughts before we let you go?
No, I'm very much think that, frankly, Boyd should come back to the band, but it was very definitely brings a component to the show.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, and I think Ann would be a much, because I don't know if you've seen Boyd play recently.
It's bad.
I think I want him to be the best he can be in his own direction, but Ann, obviously, as I heard from the recordings of people and as you experience in person, she seems ready. Like she could just hop on the tour and just fit in seamlessly. So thank you so much for coming on.
And his wife is even better. So
yes. Your husband makes the guitars. You make people happy with violin. It's a power couple. It's a DMB power couple. You know. So thank you so much for being on. Enjoy the rest of your night, and we hope you're able to get a nice spot there in the pit for night 2. I mean, I guess you can't get a bad spot looking at how small the pit is. So take care, Steph.
Take care. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Yep. Oh, and the other thing is, your husband's there. I just try to. He's a Flyers fan. There's a player for the Flyers that I just found out yesterday. He has an injury that may take him out for the entire year, Sean Couturier. So just be there for your husband.
Well, he's upset now.
Oh yeah. Oh, he didn't know?
No.
Yeah, they're saying he something with a disc. He's had so many injuries. He's number 27. If number 27 was a hockey player, he's so yeah, it's not looking good because he's one of the only players left that was like, oh, at least we have him. Oh no, we don't have him. So just be there for him because it's one of those typical Flyers. The current era of the Flyers has been struggles and heartbreak, and I have so much free time in March and April, in May, because they're not playing. So, anyway, I digress. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news on a live stream, but yeah,
crying now. But that's all right.
I didn't cry enough to.
Yeah. I may have to stop. They may have to call me up, so I may have to stop doing the streams. I've been playing men's league pickup hockey, so they may have to call me out to be a skater. So, all right, well, take care, Steph. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. All right. So I want to thank Stephanie for coming on. And let's look at the poster. Now, here's my thing. And it's funny because everyone has different reactions to these posters. I thought the poster was a disappointment for LA. Now, here's the thing. This is why I wanna explain why. I thought this would have been a good poster for Shoreline. Okay, this would have been a good poster for Shoreline. The eye, like the eyes of the world, Grateful Dead are from the Bay Area where Shoreline is. You know, they're just up the road in San Fran, which is north of Shoreline Amphitheater. This would have been a trippy, psychedelic sun and the moon and the whatever. But for LA,
What are you doing?
for LA,
What are you doing?
this was not the poster for Los Angeles, aka Hollywood, whatever you want to call it. This is not the poster you want for Hollywood to close out the last two shows of the summer tour.
Nope.
Okay. There is, again, great poster for Saturday, not a good poster for tonight. I would rather have had, because you don't have a lot of Hollywood shows. You don't have a lot of Hollywood LA type shows ever. There is plenty of landmarks you can pull from. You could put the Hollywood stars, the Walk of Fame stars. You could do the Santa Monica Pier, Dave Matthews Band. This was not a good choice. I know it's night one. I know they got to ease in. They probably will have something night two. But this is a city where you can have two scenic posters. Two posters that represent the city that hardly gets DMB except for typically what's an album release year. I thought this, not again, I'm not saying this is not an art that is appreciated, but also this poster, there were like, you know, the talk and Shane talked about it. You could get a poster. Like it was, this thing didn't sell out to my knowledge, and maybe at the end of the show it did. But this poster, you didn't have to get there early to get this poster. And that's just because this is LA. They don't care about a frog. You think these people coming from work care about a frog and a sun and a snail and mushrooms? No. This poster would have fared well at a Saturday show like Shoreline. And there are people that I know that commented on the poster forms that said, hey, if someone can buy this for me, PM me, I will pay you. Which means when people say that, when people say PM me, I will pay you, that means they would pay at least 70, 80 bucks. If this is a $60 poster, they're going to pay at least 70, 80, if not 100 for this poster. So the people who wanted this poster were not going to be at this LA show. The people who went to this show who would consider buying a poster, give them some scenery. And I know, yes, you could say, let's go back to, you could go back to some of these shows like 2018. In the Hollywood Bowl, right? This is the poster. Yes, this is the poster for LA. But this is only one vantage point of LA. You could do the reverse, right? Which I think they have done. You could do Santa Monica, right? You could do Manhattan Beach. You could do Long Beach. You could do the Rose Bowl. I mean, maybe that's a little too far inland, but there's tons. You could do all sorts of different LA type feels, palm trees and all that type of stuff. You could do a street with palm trees, Dave Matthews Band, all these palm trees. And it had some awesome colors. You could have some different colored houses. You could do it in South Central LA, right? You could do it in Watts if they really wanted to, right? You could have a lowrider, right? East LA, right? There's tons of options, and there's not a lot of shows that have been here. They should do Skid Row. PB Herman says they should do Skid Row. They should have a picture of Gavin Newsom not wearing a mask, telling people to wear mask. Let me. No. Sorry, guy. Hey, I didn't give. It's true though, right? Hey guys, wear a mask, but I'm not gonna wear a mask, right? But it is sad, and Shane talks about this. So you're witnessing it firsthand. It is sad, and really, what's sad about L.A. and Northern California, it is so hard to make it. Like houses, small houses are $1 million houses. Teachers in Northern California, they're asking families if you have an extra room in some wealthy communities in Northern California, they're asking people that have a big house, hey, if you have extra space for a teacher to stay with you, please let us know, because they want to keep these teachers. These teachers are leaving LA and leaving San Francisco and leaving San Jose because they just can't afford on a teacher's salary. Even with the obviously you get paid more to be a teacher in California than you do in Arkansas. But even with some of the different things they negotiate, the unions, it's hard. And a lot of people gravitate towards LA because the climate never gets too cold. It does get chilly every now and then. I've had clients in LA for different jobs, or customers, right? Contacts. And they'll get frost once a year or twice a year, if that. Some years they may not. They may get frost 1 year. I mean 1 day a year in LA. So you can stay year round. That's why Vegas and LA and San Francisco, they have homeless problems, because people who can't are homeless, it's easier to live out in the West Coast, the more milder coast. But anyway, it is sad. And I really wish there were ways to help. Yeah, you need to be a multi-million. I'm telling you, small houses in Cali are easily $1 million. Easily. And you can be an hour outside of San Francisco, an hour outside of LA, and the housing costs are still high. Right? It is very tough to be in California. Yeah, the wage gap. That's what it is. It's you have the problem with California. It's in New York City, but not as much as California, LA, and San Francisco. The wage, there's no middle. There's people that get paid a lot of money, but that money still goes to taxes and all that stuff. There's people that get paid, you're just above minimum wage. And we need to do something about, again, I don't know that there's full solutions, but there's got to be a way for us to make this better. And a lot of it is people are buying, companies are buying up property and raising the value and the cost of living in certain neighborhoods. They're trying to take these rundown neighborhoods, clean them up, but then the people who used to live in the neighborhoods can't afford to stay. The gentrification, right? Everyone wanted to live in SoCal, even with people moving out of California. There's a mass exodus. Millions of people are moving to Idaho, as we talked about in the tour stream. They move into Idaho. I know someone I went to high school with. He worked in the movie industry. Him and his wife worked in the movie industry. They moved out to Idaho, right? And the cost of stuff is going up in Idaho. It's going up in Utah. It's going up in everywhere else. There is so much homelessness, and we have so much. We help so many other people, and listen, that's what we do in America. But we need to help our own. We need to help people here too. So anyway, I don't want to get too much into that, but it is sad, and we do need to do different things to help one another, help those, because people don't just show up. Like, it's not like people are trying to be homeless. Like in places like LA, it's like, listen, you lose your job even with unemployment, then unemployment runs out, and trying to find another job, it's hard to make it in these cities. And even with people leaving this state in mass, they're getting more people that are coming in every day. And like I said, I really wish there were ways to help. Because other cities, you could be like, well, listen, just don't spend more than you make and do all this stuff. Other cities, there are ways to actually live. Even though it's hard for all Americans, there's others say, hey, just save your money. Don't go out, right? Just don't go out, eat every day. LA, you could do all that stuff and still just end up can't afford your mortgage. So, but yeah, the poster, I thought this was a good poster. But I thought tonight's poster just, you compare that and I thought it was a miss for the market. You have to understand, this band has to understand Irvine, right? Irvine night one, they couldn't give that poster away because it's just, again, California, the poster market isn't like that. So does tonight prove that tonight's ants prove the band needs a fiddle? I don't think they need a fiddle, but it definitely enhances the experience. It definitely is going to bring much more urgency for people to buy tickets. They don't need a fiddle, but having it definitely opens up a whole new world that we haven't seen for a while. And I do think tonight shows that. And again, we don't know. Again, it's all speculation. There's nothing that's been solid. There's a lot of people that say a lot of stuff. But Ann can hang with this band. It's a matter of, I don't know her schedule. I don't know if she has children. You got to understand certain things. Imagine the next tour announced with the new fiddle player. I don't think that's happening. I think just like they did in 2018, they just testing the market. But it would, yeah, people would go nuts. Yeah, you're right. Oh, yeah, that's what you're saying. Imagine, yeah, people would go nuts. Now, I think you would have people come back to some of the stapled venues. Some of the casual venues they wouldn't care, but some of the venues that are stapled. And this is the real dilemma. Now, maybe, I don't know, again, this is really what the challenge is. The cost to have a full-time fiddle player. Guys, if you don't know, and people have come on a D&B family, I'm going to try to get, I messaged somebody who works at the Gorge. The cost to run these concerts has gone up. I'm not saying that, listen, doesn't mean there should be 50 million platinum tickets, right? But the cost to actually run these concerts, to have staff, to pay for crew, pay for people to drive these buses, even with gas and diesel going down a little bit recently, the cost to run these shows from every aspect, security, chef, all the private jets they take, all that stuff's gone up. So to add a fiddle player, and then this fiddle player knows, listen, any fiddle player has leverage with D&B. And you may say, oh, people would be lucky to play with Dave Matthews. Listen, any fiddle player that has any sort of talent like Ann, they can say, listen, and again, D&B is not going, you could say, well, Dave needs to take a pay cut. That's not how negotiations work. Dave should just play for free. Dave should take half his take-home pay and give it to that's not how it works. And your agent will not let you do that. Because your agent, if Dave takes half the pay, and there's ways around, but anyway, the point is, your agent is not going to let you take a crazy short-sighted deal, like whatever because they get that percentage. So a fiddle player has all the leverage. Well, but here's the thing, and this is what you have to think about. A fiddle player could tour with Luke Bryan. They could tour with someone else and do 25% of the work. Also, we don't know what the fiddle player would make with D&B. I'm telling you guys, this doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much he's worth. It's not about, guys, I'm telling you, if you look at baseball, these guys make tons of money, but their agent, the players union will not let them take. There's a veteran minimum in these sports. And even so, there, like, if let's just say Aaron Judge right now for the Yankees says, "Oh, I only want to make $10 million a year." The players union would hate him. His agent would be extremely mad because he's waiting for that big payday. The rest of the market, every other big home run hitter, the guys who have a little bit less stats than Aaron Judge who are up for a new contract, they're all gonna be mad. It's not a no, but you got to understand, Pee Wee Herman. It doesn't matter. It's still it's an industry with agents, and it's still your agent and your marketing and your people. They're not gonna let you take a pay cut because then your agent doesn't make as much money. It's the same idea as a sport. Entertainment and sports, it's the same idea. Both industries, you're not guaranteed to go more than 4 or 5 years. Look at what's going on with late night comedy. Look at what goes on when people get a new job. Oh, so and so got this new show and it's gone the next year. If you guys know Desus and Mero, they had this ultimate rise and now they're done. They may never get back to that same. And listen, those guys are funny. They may never get back to the level they were at with Vice News and Showtime. The industry that these unions, they have like the songwriter, like there's a bunch of different. There's a songwriters union. There's a live performance union. They are not going to. I'm telling you, the cash flow is going to be the hardest thing to get because now again, maybe it works. Maybe it works. But I'm telling you guys, Dave can't take a pay cut. Nor will he, like, listen, flying these private jets and stuff. I'm sure he needs that money just to pay for the jets. I mean, I don't know how that works. I don't know if the management pays for it. But again, I'm telling you, in industries like Hollywood, in industries like the music industry, and industries like sport, professional sports, they're not. Now, again, you have some people like Tom Petty who did everything possible to cut his salary. But Tom Petty was not. Now, Tom Petty he's widely popular, but he wasn't like Paul McCartney. Like Paul McCartney's not. Look, you're not getting a Paul McCartney ticket for $10 face value unless it's some sort of special giveaway, right? Well, here's the thing. But again, they used to have 5 members. Now they have 6. But not even that. If you're not a core member, you're not getting paid. And the violin player has all the leverage. Right. But they're not going to remove Rashawn. At this point, and Rashawn's a creative director, he does work for Dave that Dave doesn't want to do. Dave doesn't want to make these riffs. Dave doesn't want to have these new jams. Like sometimes he'll have some input, but Rashawn does that. But the core members are going to make so much, even as they're replaced, even as Jeff replaces Roy, even as Tim comes on, right? They're never going to make the money that Dave, Carter, and Stefan make. And a lot of that is because of, again, the intellectual intellectual property that is Dave Matthews Band. The reason people will travel across country is for Dave first, Carter second, and Stefan third. That's the order. But they're all great. I don't want to discount, not taking shots at Stefan. Dave Matthews is the number one reason people will travel across country. The second reason is Carter Beauford and his drumming, even at this age in his 60s. The third reason is Stefan. I felt like Rashawn had a light night. Rashawn, but you know what's been interesting? And Shane, let me know what you think. A lot of the stuff you've been seeing over the last week, there's been a lot of stuff that didn't have Rashawn. Like when you play the riff, right? When you play Lover Laid Down, even when you play Squirm, there's not a lot of Rashawn to be on. Yeah, Dave and Carter are, but Stefan is love, right? Stefan is love too. Stefan gets a lot of love. He brings on the social media because he's on social media. But yeah, Dave and Carter are like on a level above Stefan. Dave being number one because it is the Dave Matthews Band. But looking at this set list, 41. Now 41, Jeff's sound is much louder. Yeah, and I think the sax should be more present with this band. But 41, what Rashawn does have that solo after the main, that little quick solo. You never know, isn't a trumpet heavy song. Fool in the Rain doesn't have that much trumpet standing out. Satellite does have some trumpet standing out. Walk Around the Moon isn't really trumpet heavy. Sweet has some lighter trumpet. I love what Rashawn does in Sweet. He should play like that every song. Don't Drink the Water doesn't really have that much. The riff doesn't. You and Me, Lover Laid Down doesn't. Squirm. When the World Ends may have a little, but not that much. Steady as We Go, no. What You Are, not trumpet heavy. Stay or Leave, not trumpet heavy. Kill the Preacher, Why I Am. There's some of that da 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 da, but that's about it. Jimmy Thing does. Ants Marching has some, as well. Jimmy and Ants are two trumpet. But Rye Whiskey and Gray Street, they're not. Well, Gray Street does, yeah. But Rye Whiskey is Dave solo. So there was a lot of stuff that doesn't. Well, here's the thing. I would disagree. Stefan doesn't even have a chance to solo. Stefan does not have a chance to solo. Like when you think of Fish, and listen, Stefan has some great runs, but you never can hear him. This band was not like this band is less bass friendly as the band obviously in 2002 or 2001 or 2000. Stefan is talented. He just doesn't get those times. What do we have? Grace Is Gone or something we heard him in on the Friday night concert series where he actually had some time to play bass. Stefan does not get the shine in this band or doesn't have the opportunity to even show you if he's good or bad. I think he's very underrated as far as how he plays. It's just he doesn't get the stuff. Pee Wee Herman, I think this is fair. What Rashawn Parsons people really look forward to. Some people like the squealing. My thing is with this band, the trumpet is better in the background. I think. Yeah, but listen, what can he play? The thing is with Watchtower and Crush, there's not much you can really play. The thing with the bass, like think about Victor Wooten, right? And I've seen Vic with the Flecktones. I've seen him. Obviously, Vic is arguably the best bass player in the world right now. But one thing that makes Vic stand out, when I've seen him with bass extremes, he has a drummer and sometimes, like Steve Bailey is playing under him and then he gets to play. A lot of the bass stuff, you need this nice pocket drum beat, right? You need something it's hard to have a bass solo without any sort of drum beat and all this other stuff. Yeah, I'm sorry. And listen, Rashawn, if you're watching, it's nothing personal. Well, it isn't. It's not personal, right? I actually think he does a lot as far as he is a quarterback. I don't think some people do, but Dave does not want to create these jams. And Rashawn has done some cool stuff coordinating different stuff. But the high pitch stuff is it's too much with this band. A mariachi band, fine. The way that music is orchestrated and constructed and culturally how they do that stuff, that is good. But some of the stuff does not need, like 41, the tragedy of 41 now is after you get to so it's like, and all the tears come floating by. Then you get this, that little jam part. So all the tears wash over. So the chorus is done. And you just and then you get that trumpet, like so. In the tears wash over. You're like, yo, chill, homie. You my dog, Rashawn. You the homie, but bruh, you gotta chill. Where it used to be, you'd have this nice sax over this. Well, that kind of sounds the same. That's not the point. But the point is that sax solo, right? That used to be, that was it. And then Roy would go from the sax to the flute. Ooh. And that's the thing. The flute is in a higher register than the trumpet. The flute is, well, they're both B flat instruments. They're both tuned in B flat. If you know anything about music, trumpet, and so is the clarinet. Clarinet was B flat. Oh no, that's not true. No, I'm off. The trumpet and clarinet are in the same, they're in the same tuning. They're in C. The flute is in B flat, I believe, right? So it's tuned to this. Like the guitar and the flute. Anyway, but the flute stuff that Roy did was amazing. It was amazing. And that's a higher pitch, that's a higher register instrument than the trumpet. Now the trumpet can get up high, and how that works, if you guys don't know how a trumpet works, you have 3 valves, but you use your mouth to play different registers. So like for one octave, you'll play, another one you go, and then the third one you go. So when he's getting up to those high registers, it's all his mouth position, and then he can get up to the high register. And that's the problem. He's playing that high register. What key is flute tuned in? Oh no! Oh, I'm sorry. I got this wrong. Just for people who are going to correct me, the flute is in C. The clarinet is in B flat. That's what it is. I get confused because we used to have to like tune when I played clarinet. I was in honors band playing clarinet as a kid. My uncle went to Boston Conservatory for clarinet, so I followed in his footsteps through high school. I'm not nearly as good as my uncle at clarinet, but I was balling. I had my private teaching. You know, I was lit. Clarinet tuning is B flat. Yeah, trumpet and clarinet are B flat, right? Tuning B flat. Yeah. Yeah, the trumpet is B flat, which is right next to C, or right below, or a little bit below it. I think that again, Dave wanted to explore. I think they wanted to bring on Rashawn. I think, oh, you know what it was? Roy brought on Rashawn. So it's just one of those things where he carried on. The thing about Rashawn is he is the play caller that Leroy used to be. He just happens to play trumpet. And you don't make money as a conductor of this band not doing much. So they include Rashawn. It's just one of those things where the band, you won't have a Dave Matthews band without Rashawn unless he decides to step away. Rightfully so. I think I don't want to, and sometimes I get Rashawn because people go after him. And listen, I've been vocal, but I don't want to ever be a thing where I'm trying to take his job away. And you don't make money just being behind the scenes telling Dave what to do. You got to be on stage to make what Rashawn makes. So I don't want him to lose his job. Listen, I feel like the last couple of shows we've seen a little bit less. Like, I just think there should be more balance. Yo, stop, Pee Herman. I ain't gonna listen. I just want to suspense 1/3 of the show's film. He does, but I don't want to. I never want it to be like I'm not trying to take his job away, because he is an important part of organizing the jams, and there's been some awesome ideas they've had. A lot of that's for Sean. When when Ben the Sax guy comes on, who helps him? It's Rashawn. Dave can't do that. No one else could have done what Rashawn did. And that's really what I don't want this to be a bash Rashawn session. To an extent, I just think it's fair to criticize his high pitch playing, right? And a possible limit of the trumpet per show, right? And listen, he's not. You could say he made his money, but listen, they don't make. He's not making Dave Matthews money, and listen. He's young, so he deserves to still be on payroll and still be a part of this. You can't just take someone away from, right? All right, now we're just gonna cut him. Nah, it's got to be. He's got to want to walk away on his own. And listen, when he goes with Slightly Stupid, when he does his other stuff, it's not. I'm still. It's probably less than DMB because those bands have a less budget, a smaller budget. So when he comes on with Slightly Stupid or OAR and stuff, like they're not gonna have the cash flow to even pay with Dave, even though Dave, again, those guys who are not OG members, because again, there's just what can you bring? What like no one's going to see Rashawn specifically, but no one's necessarily going to see the Jeff specifically. He adds an element of part of it, and that's where, again, going back to the violin, that is the leverage of the violin. You want me to play violin for this band, and I see everyone. Every time a violin comes on, people are literally tears of joy, like Stephanie said tonight, tears of joy. The violin player has all the leverage for DMB. And you could talk about this band Prince Money, but listen, the margins for the staff, the tour, you really like, and you want to send your staff home with some extra money for the holidays, right? So they pool up some money. A lot of their benefit stuff goes to give the staff. So like, it's just not that simple. That's not how a business works. People can be extremely wealthy, but a business could still have tight margins. So their take-home pay of what they get is high, but the business profit margins itself can be very tight. And that's really what it is. That's why certain people, oh, he's a billionaire owner. Well, if the stadium costs $900 million and he's a billionaire, he doesn't have that in liquid to pay the stadium, right? Same thing with Dave. Yes, he has this net worth of X amount of money, but he doesn't have that in liquid to pay for profit losses because of gas going up and for stuff going up across the board. The tour to rent out the tour equipment goes up. Dave is not going to go out of his personal bank account to do that. The business is going to, the actual entity itself is going to figure out cash flow and how much they get per show and how much goes towards the crew. And that's how a business works. It's not just, oh, you're rich. Oh, cut the pie evenly. That's not how it works. Now, there's some small businesses where they, a CEO can pay everyone evenly or have splits or offer stock. That's not how it works. Right? It's not just, oh, we're going to split this thing even. That's not, no. Ask your boss and your boss's boss, hey, can we just split this money evenly? Yeah, the cost does go to the consumer. Ultimately, but DMB is much cheaper than most acts. When you look every year at the Polestar numbers, DMB has the cheapest tickets in the top 10 typically. Or everyone above them, and everyone even a couple rungs below them has more expensive tickets than DMB, the average ticket price. So I will say that. All right, I need to go to bed. Well, it's 3:43 in the morning, but let's see. We're going to close out. Oh, we'll close out with some fun songs. Yeah. You guys can hear my my songs. All right, yeah. We're going to close out the show with a couple parody songs. Check out my Instagram, IG, ConcertViz34. Follow. Guys, don't forget, everyone right now, 6 people on. Everyone hit the like button. Hit that like button. It helps me to get more exposure. You guys have a good night. It is. Everyone's in tomorrow. Our West, except Hawaii time. Everyone in the West Coast, Pacific time, Mountain time zone, Central time zone, Eastern time zone. We all in tomorrow, 9:20. Summer is almost over. We have only a couple hours left of summer. Let's enjoy it while it lasts. All right, I'm going to play these parody videos. Call it a night. It's your boy ConcertViz34. Thank you for watching. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Do it. Just do it. All right, peace. Pit light. There's no pit lottery for the entire Hollywood Bowl. This news, it stings a lot. Gotta line up early for the rail. Poster fans, they refresh their browsers, waiting for the poster reveal. Merch stands, they will devour. If the brand is the real deal, no reason to get excited. The poster wasn't that great. This means they'll stay in the lots. Continue to tailgate. Oh, I'm back again. I just was told potentially, and I do apologize. I'm serious on this one. So Ann is apparently Ann Marie Simpson. She's going by her last name Simpson. Her and Brian are no longer married, from what I'm hearing. I do apologize if you guys are watching. Ann, Brian, I did not know this until now. I should have done a little more due diligence. But again, I did not know. Ann Marie Simpson is her name. She is no longer Ann Marie Calhoun due to divorce or separation. But I just wanted to make that point that it's Ann Marie Simpson. Ann Marie Simpson. That's why it makes sense. The Almanac knows her stuff. The Almanac has an Ann Marie Simpson, but she is no longer Ann Marie Calhoun. She was at one point back when the Boyd situation happened, or at least a little before that. So it's Ann Marie Calhoun. Just wanted to pop in and say that. And let's get back to some parody stuff here. I'm going to head out. Peace. Does not mean you got the tickets. Half the fan base put in requests to see DMB at MSG. You are too smart. Don't be dumb and celebrate before the emails reach your inbox every freaking year. It happens. This is getting so old. You don't have tickets yet, fool. Wait until the email comes. Then be on sale and then cash or trade. This is getting old. You go through this every year. You don't have tickets, it's a pending charge. You don't have tickets. You don't have them.
Come and see, she's Little Miss. Can't go without.